This is Big Gus. He is a Goldendoodle and he has way too much fur for this groom. You may be surprised to learn that I am a professional dog groomer and this is my dog. I waited too long to groom my own dog, but it really is a reality for dog groomers to try to find the time to groom their own pets. I broke my own rule of every dog needs to be groomed every 6 to 8 weeks, and now Big Gus and I will pay the price. It's going to be a lot of work. But fortunately, because he is my dog, my business is in my home, I'll be able to break this groom into segments for both him and I, giving us some breaks so we can get it done in one day. And I think you are going to love this video because it may capture some of the struggles you are experiencing. I'm going to prove that you can recover waiting too long to groom your dog and get the beautiful transformation that you want. Let's get started. Before I get Gus into the tub, I am definitely going to go through his whole coat with a slicker brush, trying to remove any dead or shedded hair. And he is a doodle. They don't really shed, but they do have dead hair that will come out and pack in your brush. That is hair that needs to be removed because it will cause mats. If we don't remove it before we wash him, we are going to increase the matting. Now he's ready to get in the tub and we're beginning with the shampooing process. But I want to tell you, we're going to do most of our coat prep while he is in the tub and while we dry him. Thoroughly rinse your shampoo and begin applying your conditioner. Guys, this is crucial. Do not rush this process. I'm telling you, the conditioner is the magic, especially when we've waited too long to groom our dogs and they have way too much coat. Still with the conditioner on, grab your favorite slicker brush. I am using the Artero flexible slicker brush and I'm going to link all tools and products in the description, guys, so no worries, I got you covered. Since the conditioner has set on his coat for about 4 or 5 minutes, it has now started to activate releasing the dead hair, helping us. He is overgrown, guys. There is a lot of dead hair in this coat. So what conditioner does is it allows slip in the coat. It adds durability and strength to the coat. Conditioner adds pliability to the hair itself because we are using tools on it and we don't want to break the coat, but we do need to get the dead hair out. And remember, we are going to be taking breaks during this groom because it's going to be too long. So we're about to approach our first break. Before that, we have to thoroughly rinse the conditioner from the coat now, guys, till the water runs clear. After the conditioner has set on the coat for a period of time and we were brushing and combing it through, it allowed the conditioner to do the job it needed to do. Now I'm using an absorber towel to absorb as much water out of his coat as possible because I am going to let him air dry here in a minute, guys, but I have something else I want to do first, so stay put. But the absorber towels definitely aid in speeding up the drying process. They'll be linked below. Before we take our break, we're going for that slicker brush one more time after our dog is just only toweled off, and we are going to brush in the lay of the coat all throughout the dog one more time before we allow him to air dry for a couple of hours. I'm going to go do other things and he's going to chill and take a break. But I'm not rushing this step because if I do not prepare this coat properly and be able to get a comb through his coat when it's wet, our clipper work is going to fail once we get to that step.
Come here, Vegas. Come on up. Good boy.
It's been 3 hours. Big Gus has been chilling and drying at the same time. He's not completely dry, so now I'm going to show you how we're going to finish this job and fluff him up before we give him his haircut. This is a brush and dryer combo, and it's really going to come in handy here for Gus. He's still damp close to the skin, and not only is it going to help us dry him, but it's going to help us continue to remove dead hair from him so that our clipper work is going to look beautiful. Stay put for that. We're getting ready to trim this dog. But this dryer brush is doing a good job. It's fluffing him and it's mimicking our slicker brush. Look at the dead hair that it has removed. This is what causes mats. This is a great way to continue and shorten down our time here on this groom. And you can replace the heads on these. You can get a replacement head if the slicker brush doesn't hold up so well. You know, they get tired and wore out over time, but they remove dead hair. But the brush on our dryer is not as good as our slicker brush, so we will go through him one more time with our slicker brush before we begin his haircut. Still removing dead hair with our brush and our comb. Very important tools. Running a comb through our dog's coat is going to tell us if there's still areas that need work with our brush. And this is important to set us up for success with our clipper work. Speaking of which, now it's time to start having fun with tools. This is where it all begins, but we can't do it until we did the work that led us to this point. And it's a great time to break out your dog grooming fail-proof blueprint that you downloaded. And if you haven't, you can download it for $4.99. This is my guide to your clipper work, to your scissor work, to getting a balanced and symmetric trim. It's linked in the description below. Today I'll be giving Gus his haircut with the Wall KM10 detachable blade clipper, a 1/2 inch wide guard comb over a wide 30 blade. I'm going to begin clipping at the start of his front skull, making steady, smooth passes with my clipper. I'm trying to create some smooth clipper work here. If you struggle with clipper work, I have a video on my channel that is very helpful, how to properly use a dog clipper to give your dog a haircut. I'll link that video in the description of this video and you can watch it later if you struggle with that. Now you may notice that I'm scooping off in a pattern set here on Gus, like I'm setting a pattern on this dog, but I'm not. You're going to see here in a minute in this video how I actually use that hair to build a little bit of fullness on my dog. I'm going to be scooping off at the bend of stifle, leaving some fullness to his legs. At the base of the tail, I always trim about 2 inches at the base of the tail just to keep everything hygienic for my dog, because that's right around where he does his business. I'm going to blend off of his shoulder, just as I have been doing on the side of his body. Blending with your clipper means you're using it like an airplane taking off of a runway. You're scooping off. On the top of the head, we're starting right at the visor, coming all the way down the back skull and down the neck. From the corner of the eye back to the ear, I take the whole side cheek off with this blade length. For this dog, I think it looks better for him to have a shorter cheek. Follow that jawline right on down the throat of your dog, down into the chest. And we're still using that 1/2 inch size wide guard comb. Lay that ear back and everything under the jawline and the back skull is coming off with this blade. Smooth, consistent passes with your clipper. When we lift the ear, we see all that bulky hair back there, guys. Just get rid of it right up to the back of the skull. You want your clipper blade to ride parallel with the skin and apply enough pressure just to roll the hair and the skin in front of your blade. Pick the front leg up like he's taking a step and follow that underline. And in the opposite direction, just right here in front of the penis, I'm leaving the hair on his flank alone because I want to build that later. When I say later, I mean at the end of this video, I'm going to show you a little trick to get the curl back into your beautiful dog. If they have a curly coat, give them a more natural look after you're done with the groom. You notice in this video Gus's hair is very straightened out, and that's from the brushing and drying process, but we can put that curl back in and then give it one more last little scissor and wait till you see the results we get from that. Now I like to tighten up this back end a little bit here, make him look nice. So I'm kind of going on an angle down to the bend of stifle and then blending off. This is going to tighten up his rump, make him look like he's got a lot of power in his rear assembly. Hike the opposite leg up and let's come down the inner leg on the other side here. And this makes it easy to get to it. We're still using that 1/2 inch guard comb, guys, but merely grazing in certain areas. This is a 2-speed clipper and I'm using it on high speed to get through this coat. I want to leave a high hip, and here you'll see me using that blend off technique. Using my clipper again like an airplane taking off of a runway. I will hand scissor this together with blending shears coming up. Same thing right here above his shoulder. I'm grazing. Remember I use that term grazing. Grazing and blending. I want to leave some of this hair to fill in because his shape desires it. Now remember, I waited too long to groom my doodle. We need to clean some of this up. It's time for sanitary trimming. We're going to start at the corner of his earlobe and be careful of this little flap. All dogs have that on their ears. You can catch it with a clipper. This is called venting the ear. All this sanitary trimming will be done with a number 10 blade only, except for in the pads of feet, and we'll get there in a second. Big Gus is neutered, so this applies if your dog wasn't neutered. You will come towards the testicles gently, applying no pressure. Same thing around the penis. I come towards the penis gently, and I shave about 2 inches in front of the penis to keep him very clean. We're just removing all the hair in this area that we don't see but can actually mat up. Sanitary trims are very important. It keeps your dog clean. Next step is to shave the paw pads, which is important too. They can get mats in there. I'm using the Kenchi Flash clipper on a 30 setting. This clipper is nice to use here because I don't have to apply any pressure. Very little pressure. We want to shave in a V shape in that large pad. Just edge around the perimeter of the paw pad, everything your dog will be standing on. The very last part of our sanitary trim is to trim around your dog's anus. This keeps them clean. They can get poop stuck back there. I typically, gently applying no pressure with a 10 blade only, trim away from the anus in all 4 directions. This is a very sensitive area and you can cause irritation if you push too hard or use a blade shorter than a 10 blade. Now it's time to have fun with shears. We've done all our clipper work. It's time to do all the scissor finishing work. Always comb up and fluff the hair before you're going to scissor an area. On the top skull, I'm scissoring a dome shape from the top of the ear set to the top of the other ear set and blending the back skull into the back of the neck. Comb everything back from the corner of the mouth, the corner of the eye, back to the front of the ear. Carefully scissor those areas together, making it one shape. For his muzzle, comb everything down and forward in front of the nose. Round it back to the corner of the mouth and up into the cheek work that we just performed. Comb everything forward and match the length in front of the mouth to the work we just performed on the side. Since we've set everything on the left side, we're going to match everything to the left side on the right side. Now we're using our left side as our guide. This is how we create a balanced and symmetric head trim. And here's a good tip, guys. We all have a side that is a little more awkward for us to work with than the other. My awkward side is the right side, so I always set the left side first. Now to finish this face in front of the eyes, comb everything up. I'm going for my Kenchi Peacock Chunker blending shear. I'm going to scissor down towards his muzzle. When he's playing and running around, that hair's going to want to pop out and stand straight up. So we're scissoring that shape. Now we're going to round and dome the top of the head with these chunker shears. It's just a flawless finish. For this style of trim, I am incorporating the visor hair into the top of the head. It's one unit. In other words, the hair above his eyes is incorporated into the top skull, the top knot. Now we've completely set the shape of this head and face, so I am just going to soften all of my scissor lines. Everything that I did to create this shape on this dog, I'm going to soften all around those edges to make it look so natural and so flawless. That's where these chunker shears really shine. Looking at him straight on, that tells me if my muzzle hair is even on both sides. In the front of the chest, we're going to tie the shoulders and the chest together, and I'm fluffing everything up with my comb, and I'm going to round this shape all the way around the front assembly of Gus. From shoulder to shoulder, I'm creating a U shape. I'm creating a little bit of chest on him. Remember I said I was leaving hair so I could build? That's what that means. I'm building the illusion that he has more of a chest than he does. Rounding that chest from shoulder to shoulder and dropping straight down into the leg. We're going to do the same thing here on the side of him. Remember I left all that hair so I could blend it together? I left that hair there so I could build the illusion that Gus has a more straight side. He really doesn't. This is camouflage grooming. We can do this. That's where you really showcase some skill. I want the length of his undercarriage to be about the same height as his elbow, so he looks proportioned right, even if he's not proportioned right. Now I'm going to show you a little trick I do with the tail. I clean up all the hair, take it short, about 2 inches underneath the tail. This keeps him cleaner between grooming appointments, so he doesn't get poop collecting there. Another thing I'm doing here is I'm using these chunker shears to set a round rear just like we did on the chest. We made a nice round chest from shoulder to shoulder. Well, from hip to hip, we're incorporating a round rear by scissoring only the hair that needs to go, the hair that is not creating the shape that we want. And after we've rounded in that rear, we're going to take that shape right down the leg. You want to create a nice straight pillared leg only by scissoring off the hair that is sticking out of our lines that we're imagining right now to make that straight leg. That same principle applies to the front legs. We want the shoulders to drop right down into the leg. We don't want to see our shoulders sticking out further than the leg when we look at the dog straight on. I set the hair on the inside and the outside of the right leg, and then I match that to the left leg. So I use my right leg as the guide for how much to scissor off the inside of the left leg and the outside of the left leg as well. Your right leg becomes your guide for your left leg. And this makes it easy to round the feet into the leg. We're tying the feet into the leg. The leg hair determines how round and how wide our round foot is. That's why it was important that we set the leg hair length first. Now we just have to tie the length of the foot hair into the leg hair. It makes it much easier to do the feet after you've set your legs. Keep the bottom blade of your shear on the table and use your thumb to move the top blade of the shear only, and you'll get very accurate scissor work. I'm going to switch back and forth between my curved shear and my blending shear, my chunker shear, to really finish these feet. I spend a good bit of time on feet, guys. You really will notice if you take your time and produce a nice round foot. When your dog is standing there and you're standing 20 feet away from your dog, you're going to see those beautiful legs go right into a nice round foot. Now I'm going to get my big beautiful dog down off the table, and I'm going to look over top of my dog. Looking down on your dog, you can see if your shoulder blends down into the leg, if your hip blends down into the leg, if the neck hair is uneven. If you look down on them, you can see that. And then just look at your dog's movement. Do you need to get him back up on the table and fine tune anything, or you can do it right down there on the floor with him standing? I'm so glad for those of you who made it this far into the video, because now you're going to get a big cookie. This is after my dog is done. I want to put some of his curl back in, and then I want to scissor it so it looks real natural. So I fill my water spray bottle up with warm water, and I start scrunching it in. I'm mainly looking at those areas that I left filler coat, okay? Remember, we left coat to build? I'm going to blend that area together after I'm scrunching some of this water back in to give my dog back his natural look. Blow drying and bathing and brushing, we straightened out his coat, but I like him a little curly. And after we see the shape coming back into these curls because we're wetting it and scrunching it, gonna grab a towel, something absorbent, a nice towel, start sealing the deal with those curls. We're gonna pick those chunker shears back up, and now I'm going to scissor this shape in real natural, real rounded looking. Be aware of the angle of your shears. We don't want our dog to have a straight slab side. We want a round shape, nice puffy round shape. So be aware of the angle of your shears and start scissoring that coat in its natural state. Pet grooming can be fun too, guys. You can unleash your creative side as well, which is very satisfying when you're grooming dogs. Definitely tap into that and enjoy it. But we took this Goldendoodle that had too much fur and we made this groom happen today, and he is back to good. This is what he looks like. He's all done, and Gus and I are so thankful that you joined us for this video. If you'd like to keep this learning going right now, you might want to click on one of these videos. I've chosen these because I feel like they would be great follow-up videos for this one and continue to help you learning how to groom dogs. Go ahead, click on it, and I'll see you there. Thank you for watching this video.